If you're looking for more options for your first car or looking to buy a smaller commuting workhorse, you were probably waiting for the Redi-GO. Welcome then, ladies and gentlemen, to PowerDrift for the first driving impressions of this. And then the good news is that this comes with a Datsun badge, which means it's going to be a lot more affordable. In the market today, the Alto sits at 2.57 lakhs and the Quid at 2.62. So it's safe to say that the Redi-GO should undercut both by about 30,000 rupees. So should you really buy one? Well, Datsun says it's going to be the cheapest in its segment, has the lowest cost of ownership, longest warranty and the best fuel economy. All of this looks like a promising deal. Presently, the car comes with only one engine option, a 800cc 3-cylinder all-aluminium petrol engine mated to a 5-speed manual gearbox. But this engine bay is spacious enough, or looks spacious enough, to host a bigger engine. Well, Datsun hasn't commented anything on that yet, but they say every 6 months they're going to be doing a major addition to the Redi-GO. So would we get an AMT transmission, a 1-litre engine like the Quid? Let's wait and watch. For now, let's check out the interior. Now the first impression of this cabin is that it's nice and roomy. A curved windscreen, large glass areas and great amount of headroom. And because of the tall boy design, it's really simple to get into. Now the dashboard it's a minimalistic dashboard and the quality of plastics is definitely one notch above from what we've seen on the earlier Datsuns. It's got 2 glove boxes. The closed one is just about enough for my wallet, my phone and my sunglasses. And then it has a fairly bigger one, which is an open glove box. You get some more storage spaces here, 2 cup holders and some under the handbrake. But there are no bottle holders in the doors, and the little storage spaces in the door is not accessible unless you open the door to reach them. Now if it is a youngster's car, you like it or not, a lot of "chal yaara steady gaadi nikalte hain" is going to happen to you. And then you do need space for all your friends. Well, there is enough, even to host a 6-footer friend. It might not have the great headroom that it has in the front, but it's perfectly livable even for a tall man. There's nice amount of shoulder room and the floor height here in the center is not too high, so I can even sit here. What's noticeable to see here is that these C-pillars are totally exposed metal that's unseen of in any other car, and it's more of a cost-saving feature than a design. I do personally like them, but if you don't, well, Datsun has something where you can cover these up. And then are these seat belts. They're non-retractable, which means when they're not in use, they'll be dangling here. Let's check out the boot. At 222 liters, it's not the biggest, but it's not all that tiny either. And you get this nice solid luggage tray, which looks nice. It doesn't look like a cost-saving feature, but some bits of the car do, like the single wiper or the 13-inch rims that are fitted onto 3 nuts, just like the Quid. Now that's the music system. It looks fairly basic, but does give you USB, aux and CD support. But the feel of buttons and knobs is a little crude. You can opt to use it with this tiny remote, but here's the thing, it comes with only 2 front speakers that are really tiny, 3.5 or 4 inches in diameter, and you don't have an option to add speakers to the rear doors or the luggage tray. And that's not really good for a car that's aimed at young buyers. Above it is this fixed AC vent, which Datsun says is a design choice and is mainly there for the rear passengers. These seats, well, they look nice in this green color, especially with this body color. It looks to be one with the car. The side bolstering is decent, doesn't give you any much thigh support, but they're not all too uncomfortable. I think I've done enough of talking. Let's take up for a spin. Alright, so it's got a nice soft clutch with not too much of travel action. The gear throws are again small. Large glass areas, nice big rear view mirrors. So it's a fairly simple car to drive for beginner drivers. The steering wheel, well, it's a typical Datsun as you would expect. This has a fair amount of feedback, light on lighter speeds, and as you pick up pace, really weighs up nicely. Fuel economy, well, Datsun says that this is going to be the most fuel economical car in its segment. Right now the market leader is the Quid with 25.17. This shares the same engine, but this is also a lighter car than the Quid because it's about 25 centimeters shorter and 2 centimeters less wider, so that'll translate into less body weight for sure. The engine, of course, feels decently powered for a car of this size. Not at all will I call it underpowered, and if you're okay with revving the car a little, it is quite peppy. In fact, Datsun says that it is the fastest car in its segment. 0 to 100 is 16 seconds, but it is a little loud and fluttery. and especially as you pick up revs. I'm doing about 2,500 in the third gear. I'll try and come down to second, and the cabin does become very loud at about 5,000. The rev limiter is 5,200, but beyond 4,000 you really feel like you're stretching the engine. But in the fifth gear at about 3,000 RPM, you can be doing 80 kilometers an hour. The engine, while it doesn't feel totally at rest, doesn't feel as if you're making it do something that it wasn't designed to do. So you can definitely use the car for your occasional highway trips. 80, 85, even probably 90 kilometers an hour should be a comfortable zone to be traveling on a highway. And it is also the fastest to come back from 100 to 0 with a braking distance of 32.3 meters. But I'm not a fan of the brakes, not at all, because they lack any kind of feedback and they're very analog. As you go down, it's not braking, not braking, not braking, and suddenly you slam on and the car stops. Now Datsun has gone ahead and called this an urban crossover, mainly because of the ground clearance, which is 185 meters. I won't really buy the crossover tag, not on a small engine like this and small tiny tires, 13-inch tires. But then the ground clearance certainly helps. Now being a small car, it does get the benefit of being very nimble and you can fairly take U-turns easily. It's really a hot day here at Calcutta and my Google now says it's 45 degrees. But this AC, despite the small engine size, seems to be doing a decently good job. I'm doing about 50 kilometers an hour, and even when I go over a slightly rough patch, the car doesn't go helter-skelter or doesn't totally feel shaken up. It's well composed and the suspension is fairly comfortable. One big flaw in the car is that it doesn't come with center locking. I'm not saying remote lock. Even when you turn the key from the outside and try to lock the driver door, it's not going to lock all four doors. Or this cabin light, which doesn't turn on when you open the co-driver side door because it doesn't have one of those fridge switch. It's only there in the driver door. Now these are small calls that Datsun has taken to save cost. I would really want to have them in the car, but Datsun thinks of otherwise. Now the car is available in 5 colors and this lime green is my personal favorite. Datsun has been a little tight-lipped about the number of variants the Redi-GO is going to be launched in, but to my understanding they're going to be minimum 3, maybe 4 variants. This one standing here is of course the top end variant, so it gets front to power windows, or electronic power steering, a music system, a driver side airbag. And on the outside gets some more fancy bits like the Fox aluminium bash plate, DRL, chrome. Let's summarize. So the car today is available for pre-booking for 5,000 rupees on Snapdeal. But here's the catch. It says indicative pricing 2.5 to 3.5 lakhs. And the actual pricing and a lot more numbers about the car are going to be known when the car is finally launched sometime in June. Until the Quid came into the Indian market, the Alto looked like the undisplaceable king of this segment. But the success story of the Quid sings a different tune. Perhaps then with attractive pricing, funky looks, really tall claims of promise, and a lot of space, this baby can definitely steal some from everybody's pie and make space for itself in this segment. PD Army, do hit us up in the comment section. Let us know what you really like about the Redi-GO and what is it that you think is a myth here. And until next time, this is Sharan signing off. Goodbye.